Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and I'm wishing you a very happy day today. Something I am asked about all the time, literally all the time as a counselor and a coach, is how do you deal with negative people, right? Their negative energy. Yeah, I was even asked last week at a workshop I gave, how do you deal with hostile people or people who write hostile emails or people who like really rant and rave on social media and just have a lot of negative energy coming from them verbally or in their content, and just what to do with it when you're not someone who leans in that direction and would rather everything have a positive twist to it. And so these are just some of my suggestions to help you through that. I'm with you. I like to stay in the positive realm as much as possible. And I don't give a lot of energy to people's negativity. The only exception to that for me is as a coach working with people privately and so forth, I need to understand what they feel negative about or what their problems are and issues are, of course, so we can begin to turn those things around. So here are some tips for you when you are amongst negative people with negative things to say, negative energy, and you're not wanting to take that in too much. First of all, understand that you don't have to convince them otherwise. Okay, so number one is to let go of the need that you need to convince them of something other than where they're at. I know the temptation is when we hear someone being negative is to try to talk them out of it because we want them to feel all rosy and positive like we do. But people are in that frame of mind for a reason, and it's their choice to be there, and it's their job to pull themselves away from that agenda if that's what they want. So part of your frustration is when you're trying really hard to control how they look at something or how they feel about something, and you're not having a lot of luck shifting them because they don't want to shift, at least not right at that time, right? So instead, a more peaceful way for you to manage that would be to just let go of that need to convince them or change their minds. Okay? So letting go of that. And then realize you really don't have to engage in the conversation either. In most situations, you don't have to jump in head first in the midst of a conversation like that. You can kind of sit back and just listen or act like you're listening if you want to, but you don't have to agree or disagree. Again, just remember you don't have to do that. You're choosing to if you want to, and that's fine. But if you're really trying to manage this feeling better when you're dealing with negative people and things, one of the things you can do is give yourself a little space from it by not feeling like you have to fully engage in the conversation. Now, how do you do that when you're present with someone, they're sharing something with you that's really negative and you're thinking, ugh, I don't want to I don't want to indulge this conversation at all. It's really simple. Here's some little tricks. Some things you can say are, "Oh, that's interesting." I say that to people a lot. I'll say, "That's interesting." And it is interesting to me. It's fascinating to me to listen to someone who has a really different mind track than I do. I feel like I can learn something from listening. So I'll say, "Oh, that's really interesting." Another thing you can say is, "Thank you for sharing." Thank you for sharing, because deep down, they are sharing themselves. Even if you don't like the tone of what they're sharing, even if you don't agree with what they're sharing, they are sharing something with you. So they're trusting you enough to share whatever is on their minds. And so you can genuinely say, "Well, thank you for sharing." Give them a smile. You know, that doesn't mean you're agreeing with them. It doesn't mean you're attempting to disagree with them, change their minds or anything else. You're just there. You're present. You're interested, and you're thanking them for sharing. Okay? Another thing you can say is, because if you're a real positive person, this is probably true for you. You can say, "I have never thought of it that way. I've never thought of it that way before." say that too to people. And I mean it. Maybe I haven't ever thought of it that way because I don't tend to go down that road, right? Which neither do you, you positive people out there asking me, how do we deal with people's negativity? So think about things that you can say in response to them to acknowledge the conversation or be respectful if you feel like, you really want to be respectful of a person, but not agree, not disagree, not get on your own bandwagon, not try to change their minds. Those are some things. That's fairly interesting. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I'd never really thought of it that way before. Wow. Okay. So, and then here's a little secret mantra you can carry around with you. And this works in all kinds of situations, but and you've heard me say this before possibly, because I just love it so much, is that when someone throws you a ball, you don't have to catch it. Someone throws you a ball, you don't have to catch it. So in other words, when somebody flings something in your direction, whatever it is you don't like, the negativity, the belief system, the mantra they're on, the tangent they're having, whatever, you don't have to catch it. We humans, what we do is we think, uh-oh, here comes something. I got to catch it. I've got to take it on. I've got to respond. I've got to do something with this information. I've got to take care of this person right now. I need to change their minds. Whatever. No, you don't. You don't have to catch it. So instead, just watch it come and step out of the way and watch it drop and roll away. So you feel less attached to it, right? You feel more able to put space there, so you don't take it in. I say to people, we human beings tend to be sponges, and we think we have to soak up everything around us like a sponge and fill up what everybody's saying and everybody's doing and everybody's thinking and everybody's sharing. But we don't. You can pick and choose what you absorb in and take in. And it doesn't mean you're uncaring, and it doesn't mean you're cold-hearted. It just means that you're putting up some boundaries around what you're willing to take on or take in as energy that you want to hold inside. So you can let people have their opinions and share their thoughts, but not feel like you're bearing any burden from it. It takes practice, but you can do it. And then, of course, anything you do hear that's negative, even in just your mind, you can work on reframing it in a positive direction. I'll never forget, I had a professor years ago who was talking about meteorology for some reason. And she said, I don't know why meteorologists always tell us there's a 20% chance of rain, when actually what that means is there's an 80% chance of sunshine. And I thought, wow, that's so true. When we hear there's a 20 or 30% chance of rain or snow, we think it's going to rain or snow, but there's actually this much higher percentage that it's going to be safe, dry, warm, sunny, bright. And so why we're focusing in on that little chance of rain or snow, I don't know. But that's we can do the same thing with all kinds of things. If someone's, you're hearing the news of the day and it's, the latest, often our news is filled with some bad news, what crimes have happened, what accidents, what poor weather conditions are where, or what political war is now going on, or unrest in what country, and so forth and so on. If you can work on reframing some of the difficult things that you hear that upset you, and think about all the good that's going on in the world, and maybe some of the heroism that's going on that happened today, all the safe traveling that went on today, all the sunshiny places today, all the good deeds that were done today. Just think about that and focus in on those things, the good that's going on in the world. You'll feel better. And then the other thing is to surround yourself with positive people. Really, you can pick and choose who you spend time with, and you might want to start to limit time with those in your life that you feel are particularly powerfully negative and toxic to be around for you. and increase your time with those that you find joy in spending time with and who adopt more of a philosophy that you do that's more optimistic or constantly seeking peaceful or loving or joy filled news and who carry that kind of energy around them. It's up to you how you spend your days and your time and who you spend your days and your time with and what information in the world and from the media you choose to focus in on and absorb and how much of that you take on and take in. And you can filter all of that. I say to people, sort your laundry, sort your laundry, sort your laundry. So in other words, keep what feels really good. Surround yourself with the kind of energy that you want to live in. And then do your best to not take on some of that other that shows up. So those are just a few suggestions. If you have other suggestions for me or the group that might be participating in this, please share them. I'd love to hear more. I know there are more and I could share more, but I'd love to hear what all you have found that works out there when you're working on dealing with negative people and negative energy. So I wish you a wonderful day and night, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.